I want to talk about MBA interview questions, the most common questions, and some of the principles about how you should answer them. The first question that you'll get in almost every MBA interview is some kind of a variation on, so, tell me about yourself. The interviewer wants you to feel at home. They want to give you a nice, easy question to start, and they want to give you an open floor where you can say almost anything. Most people will start out, their instinct is to answer this question along the lines of, well, my name is David, and I was born in Los Angeles, and you won't believe it, but then I graduated high school and I went to college at UCLA, and after that I got a job. Let me tell you where I got that job. And what's wrong with this? Just picture the poor admissions officer interviewing tens or even hundreds of candidates in a season, and everyone is beginning with this readout of a kind of chronological story of things that they already know. They've seen your resume by this point. They don't need you to remind them of your name or of, the fact that you went to college and got a good job like every other MBA applicant in the world. What you want to do is think of something which is both interesting and stimulating about you, but at the same time not so creative that it has nothing to do with the MBA. So some things you might talk about instead when you're introducing yourself is that you might talk about some big kind of hobby you have outside of work. You might talk about the deeper motivations that have guided your career or something that's important to you personally. I can't sit here and tell you the right answer, but I can tell you that it's not going to be this boring chronological walkthrough of all the basic facts. Usually the second question that they'll ask is something that's a variation on, well, why do you want to pursue an MBA? And then for this one, you're looking for that kind of Goldilocks zone. You don't want to say something which is too wild and crazy, that you think the MBA is going to make you be next in line to be the CEO of Google. And you don't want to say something that's too boring, that an MBA might help you get a 5% raise at work and a little promotion. You want to show that you have a realistic idea of what the MBA can do for your career, while making it sound a little bit inspiring and exciting at the same time. You're almost always going to discuss your career goal as a part of giving this answer. Another very classic question is, well, why is our school the right fit for you? The school wants to think, they know that you're applying to other schools. They would like to feel like their school is a special fit with you for some reason and that you've really taken the time to understand the program and what you can get from it, what you can give back to it. So with this one, what you're trying to do is show the depth of your research. We talk about how to research schools and network with schools in other articles we've published. That's a whole separate topic, but suffice it to say that to answer this question well, you need, on the one hand, you need to have mastery of the basic details, like what major might you study or what concentration, what classes are you going to take, what kind of clubs and programs will you do, and a little bit of color maybe about your interactions with members of the school community. Not like you're just reading a bunch of stuff off their website and echoing it back. After these, you're almost always going to get some kinds of behavioral questions, basically variations on, tell me about a time when, and then they might ask you about leadership or about teamwork, or commonly about a time that you failed. And they want you to walk them through a real situation, one situation, and give the details of what you did and what happened. There's different things that you would do for different questions. So on a leadership one, you want to show why your actions resulted in some important kind of success. What did you do? And then you want to show how you dealt with your team. So if you begin the leadership question and you are starting to talk about, well, I had 5 workers on my team, so I assigned each one of them some work so that we could do the work faster than if I did it all myself. If you said it that way, You're showing that you think of these workers as interchangeable kind of cogs in a machine, and you didn't take any time as a manager to get to know them. So it might be a good idea on a leadership story. Talk a little bit about the people who you led, the people who made you successful as a leader. Other ones, so if they ask you about teamwork, very common to ask, tell me about a time you faced a difficulty or a conflict on a team, or maybe a team member that wasn't pulling their weight. What they're really doing is they're trying to visualize how you might behave when you're in contact with other students during the MBA program. So the wrong answer is something like, well, I was on this team and there was this guy, Steve. What an asshole. Steve did everything wrong. It was all his fault. And so I kicked him off the team. Then we were successful after that. And the interviewer is thinking, hey, guess what? Once we admit your classmates, you can't kick anyone off your team. We need you to work it out with the people who are in your group. So a better answer would show you being a little more conciliatory or show you trying to cooperate smoothly with the team members. In terms of failure, don't try to dance around it. Tell them a time that you really failed at something meaningful that you had a chance to achieve, and show them why you learned something out of that. This one is as much about showing self-knowledge and some humility as anything else. These are some of the most common questions. There are many variations, many other topics that we couldn't cover in any one short video. If you're looking for professional help preparing for your interviews, we'd love to speak to you. And otherwise, with these principles and doing some diligent practice, you can put yourself in a much better position to get the offer when you interview for MBA admissions.